if you're working from home and you're wanting your mouse to move so that your screen stays on, so your monitor stays on, then get a analog watch and put your rest of your mouse on it, because the ticking makes the mouse move enough for it to actually screen on.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Krusty's Third Nipple. The podcast is unnecessary as all the articles claiming Piers Morgan had broken his silence on something. That cunt wouldn't be silent at his own funeral. My name's Kieran and I'm joined as ever by Darren.
Hello.
And Tarig.
Yo, yo, yo.
And in this episode, we're going to party like it's 1999 with the David Fincher cult classic Fight Club. Before that, we're going to share what we've been watching over the past 2 weeks, and Tarig takes over hosting duties for the quiz. Gentlemen, how are you?
I've been good. It's been a quick 2 weeks for me anyway. So it sounds like it's flown by. I've had the luck to see some friends and play some football and stuff like that. So it's been a good time.
Socially distanced football, you're just passing the ball over large.
Yeah, of course.
We need to get you into the golf, and you can come up with me and your dad on a golf course. And trust me, but the way I play it, it's definitely socially distanced.
Yeah. Socially distanced with you in the hole.
yeah, definitely. Your dad been telling you stories?
Jeez, I think we were all fucking feeling that on Sunday there, were we?
Oh, definitely. But it's good to get back out on it, though. Definitely. Me, I've just been kind of the usual debacle with me, just running about daft after every woman in my life, and then Brandon every now and then. But recently I've been cooking a lot more. See, the last few weeks, well, last year, with everything, and with Izzy's mum being here, I've been trying to do as much of the cooking as possible. Not just relying on her to bring in a load of her Polish different foods, which is always good, but she's got quite a set menu, which I love everything. I love everything on the menu. Don't get us wrong, but I like to kind of change things up every now and then. So I've been kind of doing the world famous chicken chorizo pies and homemade Thai curries, fajitas, enchiladas, all this different type of stuff. So if it's the nights, so normally what we'll do is he'll tell me what nights I'll need to cook for everybody in the house, and then the other nights his mum will just kind of cook something else herself. Mm-hmm. So you need this, especially with the amount of people in my house.
Oh yeah. You
need to know for portion sizes and stuff like that.
Definitely. And
portion sizes is the key thing here. Okay, I like my food. I like to know what I'm going to be eating at that meal. So for things like curries and stuff like that, it's fine. You can make loads of it. But if you're talking like fajitas, enchiladas, just kind of things that are big, you need to know how many.
Because you're limited with the dish size, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're doing like a chicken balmoral or something, you do 3 chickens, 3 people are going to eat that. Mm-hmm. So my problem that I've been having is any time that I'm cooking, and I'm getting told for him, is he getting the wee heads up, like mum's going to cook her own food tonight. And I was like, right, perfect. I'll go ahead and make something myself. Make something for us, and then I'll get the portions sorted. And as soon as I've cooking it and the aromas are kicking about the house, I hear the wee footsteps coming into the kitchen. And she's just pottering about, just having a wee look about. And then the famous line is, taste, and just a little taste. She's like, oh, fuck. Because as soon as she takes a taste of this, I'm really hoping that she hates it. and I know that I'm getting my full portion size that I've actually thought about. I'm not greedy. I'll happily share, but when you've got it in your mind that you're going to get
definitely, especially when you're cooking it.
Yours. Oh, exactly. And then when she has that taste, those vital seconds that she's chewing on that and deciding whether or not she's going to eat half my fucking fajitas or half my enchilada is the longest seconds I've ever fucking got in my life. Like, oh, come on. Don't like it. And so, oh, nice. It's like, oh, fuck. So she had half my enchiladas the other day, and it was raging. But if she turned down and said that she didn't like it, I'd be offended. I'd be like, oh, what's wrong with it? that tastes amazing. But so
I love the nights where you're just cooking for yourself, like, because I've had tea already or something, so you're coming in a bit later maybe, and that's when I really experiment on shit. I didn't need them looking over my shoulder like, I didn't like that. Are you putting that in?
Yeah.
What are you doing that for? That's not how you always make it. Like, well, just fucking relax. Just relax. You might like it, might hate it. But
this is going in this mouth. And I've got it planned. I mean, nobody can make a better sandwich for yourself than yourself. You know exactly what you're wanting. See, even just a sandwich, you can just totally just lay it on and jazz it up.
I've even got like I was having a sandwich with like cream cheese and ham and like cucumber salad and so on, right? And usually with ham, I'll double up the ham, so I'll put it at either end. So
right,
everything else in the middle. But with the cream cheese, I've just put that on one side, one slice, and put the cucumbers against that. Because it's just like
so it's a sticker. So it's sticking to it.
So yeah, so you get that cucumber directly with the cream cheese, and then just doubled up the ham at the other end. I was quite pleased with myself with that.
Kieran, I'd let you make a sandwich for me.
Okay, good.
See, I love when people kind of describe their sandwiches, even if it's stuff that I don't like. I don't necessarily like cream cheese, but just hearing the passion people give, it's close to their heart. And
so happy with that decision.
I worked at Subway for years, so I've seen some peculiar dishes.
but if
Placed in front of me.
If they're happy with it, so, like, there's a satisfied customer. Yeah. That makes my day, yeah.
So what's your what would be your sub of choice then, Darren?
Oh, okay. So I got the foot long, obviously. I like the Italian bread, which is the normal, but sometimes I do like the hot Italian, or so just like another kind of one with maybe one with the cheese on it. Then I don't actually like cheese inside the thing, but I just get it toasted, and it's a chicken pizzola. So what I do is get a marinara sauce, spread it all across the top, put down 6 pepperoni bits and 2 big scoops of chicken. And then they toast that, and they come back, and I put some, mostly cucumbers, sometimes like other things like lettuce in there, but mostly cucumbers. And then you get it with Scooby, actually. I was working at Subway. Scooby said, use, because you also make our lunches there, and he's like, use barbecue sauce with the chipotle. I'm like, I've never had chipotle. I'm never enough a big fan of it. He's like, trust me, it'll change your life. Never turned back. It's like 2 years ago now. It's changed my life.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Scooby always comes up with some life-changing ideas.
But it's that with the barbecue sauce at the same time.
Sounds honestly good. Spoken like a true sandwich artist there, Dan.
Yeah.
So I guess we better talk about what we've been watching then. Who wants to go first?
Exactly.
I can go first.
Go for it.
So I watched the documentary about actor / wrestler David Arquette, and it's the one he made about himself, and it's called "You Cannot Kill David Arquette." And it basically kind of takes place long after his kind of acting career and his wrestling career kind of ended, and it's quite sad because he's been because things out of his control has made him look quite like a joke, and he's not been put into films or wrestling or anything like that. He's always just been the scapegoat, and it's like, he's like the worst thing that happened to wrestling, and he's just been brandished with all this hate. And even earlier in his career, he was on like a Vanity Fair magazine with like Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was like up there to be one of like the more serious actors in Hollywood. But then he got put into Scream, and then obviously because he's kind of naturally goofy and he's kind of like funny, he just got typecast for being all those kind of crappy 90s comedies, and his whole career just went to crap after that. And it wasn't, all his potential was stolen from him, and he's a lifelong wrestling fan, and so he was making like a comedy 90s movie called Ready to Rumble with the WCW stars, like Goldberg and stuff like that. And so they thought, WCW just thought, oh, let's get Dave Arquette on the actual show to cross promote, and like, so he gets some like kind of cross promotion there, and so he gets rejected into this match outside of his control, which he wins the WCW Heavyweight Championship, like the biggest belt they have, and they put on a Hollywood actor that's like, not that belt or anything like that. They just put on a guy just because he's an actor, and it's been like, it's probably one of the more controversial things that have happened in that company, or even all wrestling. And so he's been dealing with the hate for that for like 20 years, and so he's like, he's bruised and he's barred, and he's older now, and he's sober. He's gone over his addictions, and he wants to get back into wrestling, but he wants to do it the right way. So he has to go through kind of like the indies and stuff like that. And it's just, sometimes he goes through these death matches, and people just get these like these lights and all these kendo sticks and these thumbtacks, and they just smack him over the head with it. And it's like he's kind of almost suffering for his art, and it's almost like that's the only way he could feel like he's redeeming himself, is to get
so when he gets beat up and humiliated as a wrestler, you're thinking that he's getting beat up and humiliated as David Arquette and as himself.
Well, no, it's just because it was kind of like indie death matches. So like that's actual hitting you and stuff. It's not someone fake punching you. They'll get stuff and they'll just smack you over the head with it, and they make you bleed, and like just give you concussions and everything. But he feels like that's the only way he can kind of redeem himself and apologize,
get some legitimacy.
Get himself back. And it's quite sad because he likes the things he does, but it's just everyone just hates him because of these things. And like, he tried to get on this Legend show with the former WCW talent, and he's talking to him in a bar, and then the guy just starts like shouting and pushing him and screaming in his face and everything because he just hates what he did so much. It's like, it wasn't David Arquette's fault. No,
he's never getting past this with anybody. It's always just going to be there.
And everyone's made this just snap judgment now for 20 years, and he's never kind of back in Hollywood or anything like that, because they just see him as, Goofy's 90 actor, and everyone wrestling hates him because like, they put the belt on him. And
how did you feel at the end of it about him?
I don't know, I quite liked it. You see a lot from his point of view, and you see him like kind of growing up and stuff, and he's always kind of be like obviously a class clown, and he's always kind of wanted to be loved and liked by everyone. And so when he's been like, just hated, vilified, for things, I just felt really bad for him. And I think he gets his kind of, I think he redeems himself, but...
Is he still married to Courtney Cox?
No, she makes it
she ditched him.
She ditched him after he lost the belt.
She said a funny thing, though. Like, they met on Scream 1, they hated each other on Scream 2, they married on Scream 3, and then divorced on Scream 4.
Oh, okay.
That's their relationship.
Jeez.
But he's remarried and he's got a bunch of kids now, so.
Oh, is it Christina McClary?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But
who the hell is she? She has no Courtney Cox. That's who she is.
But yeah, it really kind of goes into this kind of guy, and he's very real. He's very hard on his sleeve, and it just kind of shows him like warts and all.
Yeah, that sounds like a decent one.
It's like if you got told, all right, I were bringing to WCW, like, wow, yeah, I get to be a wrestler. That's pretty cool. I get to come on. And they said, oh, put the belt on. You're like, what? And then it's too late to back out. And now for 20 years, you've been just like, it feels like you're the devil. You know what I mean?
Does it kind of come across like he's come into the company and sort of demanded that?
Everyone just sees it as this big Hollywood star thinks he knows wrestling. There are people here sacrificed and earned worked their asses off and earns a lot more than him, and he just takes what we see as a symbol of being the best in the business and makes a joke of everything. And then it wasn't long after the WCW folded and stuff.
What was
his
wrestling name? Just David Arquette?
Just David Arquette, yeah. I think one of the things was like it wasn't even like a one-on-one match. I think it was just like a weird like 2v2 or like a fatal four-way match. He just kind of gets the pin at the same time as someone else, and so even his win was weird and controversial.
Oh, okay.
And then it was like a shock thing. That was their idea. It was a shock factor. He's won.
His wrestling name should have been Dewey. Maybe they would have liked him more.
I was going to say Dewey. That was it. I thought it was Officer Doofus or something like that.
What was that? Scary movie.
That scary movie.
That was it. He played the character that well. It could have been him in both the movies.
Runs in with a Hoover.
and he's shot.
I told you not to rub me when I'm in my room.
That's not help David. Is it?
That's no. I actually thought it was that.
I just been like talking this guy up. He's slandering him.
Sorry, David Arquette. I'm sure you're on the same level as our podcast, so you can come on at any point, mate.
I'd love to have him on.
We won't call you Dewey.
Well, we're trying not to anyway. I go for
you go.
On you go, Kieran.
Mine's is pretty grim, so let's no go.
Right, okay. Right, I'll go one of mine's. It's Irresistible. It's Steve Carell. Just last year I got released. Political satire. So we'll go for political satire, then on to your grim one after this. Then.
Yeah.
So it's just after Trump's win. It's a Democrat. He's a Democrat strategist is trying to get a grassroots farmer candidate up into a kind of mayoral conservative town and try and make him win the race. Mm-hmm. Steve Carell, again, anytime I see him, I still can't take him away from The Office. Anytime I see him on screen.
Or even the 40-year-old virgin, that seems to stick with me as well.
Yeah. Maybe the waxing of his chest. But this does take you right away from that, because he's in talking he's talking about politics. He's trying to build up the momentum. There's a good relationship with him and his opponent, who's trying to derail the whole mayoral race, but it is really funny in a lot of parts. You've got to know, I would say, a little bit about American politics to watch it, but it is funny. There is a lot of good humour all the way through it. There's a point where they've got no money. They've just got into the town. They're trying to build up this guy. He's a farmer, so he's just all about the town. There's only like a few thousand people within this Deer Lake, Wisconsin, I think, and there's no place for them to build their base. So they go into this wee ramshackled old shop, and there's no internet. So Carell's bringing in all these people from Washington with all these millions of pounds, and they've got this tiny wee office and there's no money, no Wi-Fi, so they've got to go away out in their car and they start stealing the internet from the school. So there's the four or five guys sitting outside the school, all on the internet, just tapping away, and then you see them kind of walking back into the office, and somebody just standing there.
They're stealing notes from Parasite here.
Really, you're taking the four grown men sitting outside the school for hours on end. You didn't think that was going to raise any alarms? Well, in hindsight, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But it's good, kind of high quality.
It was written and directed by Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, which was a big political comedy program over there. He was on that for years and years.
You can see a lot of the kind of Daily Show type of jokes that creep in there.
I can imagine, yeah.
There's loads of tiny wee, and there's a really good twist near the end, at the end, which kind of I didn't actually see coming. I'm usually quite good at kind of picking up on little things, but this one does kind of throw it in there, and it works, and it works really well. So I'd say give it a bash. I think it was Amazon Prime, maybe. Potentially, I think we picked that up.
According to IMDb, you need to buy it for Amazon Prime. So maybe it's available somewhere else.
Or Apple TV or something.
Right, okay.
I can't remember. But yeah.
I watched two things this week. Kind of, they're both dealing with miscarriages of justice in different ways. One of them is a kind of true life one, and one's just a series. The series is, I'll just touch on it because I've not finished the first season yet. It's Your Honour. It's pretty new on Sky.
That was my next one I was going to be talking about.
No way. Right, good. That's so, it's Bryan Cranston. I've not even written anything down for this, but Bryan Cranston plays a judge who, at the start, you see is quite sympathetic to the plight of poor black people in New Orleans, where they're based, and you see him trying to find ways not to put young, black guys in jail when they're on maybe small charges, even though the law dictates it that would be a jail term. So he's painted in a good light, but his 17-year-old son is driving in a car and he kind of gets the start of an asthmatic attack, and he's reaching for his inhaler while he's in a kind of bad part of town. There's a reason for it. It's like a scene of his mum's murder, but he's kind of like chased out of there. So he's in a panic to get out. He has a panic attack, an asthmatic attack. He's kind of reaching over the dashboard, over the seat for his inhaler, and he hits somebody on a motorbike coming in the other direction. Just comes out of fucking nowhere. It's debatable whether he could have saved this guy, because as another young boy, he pretty much just bleeds out onto the street, and this panic attack is still ensuing during this time where he goes over and sees him. Tries to phone 911, manages to phone 911, but can't speak because he's like out of breath. Long story short, he leaves the scene in a panic and just drives home. Tells his dad, and his dad, being the judge that he is and everything, says, "Oh shit, like fuck, we've got to go to the police station and just own up. Just that's the best way. It's the only way. Let's go do it." We go to the police station, and he says, "Stay in the car." He goes in the police station, and he catches the eye of the parents, who are obviously just been told of the murder, of the death. And he's like, "Oh shit," runs back in the car and says, "You're not to say a word about this. You've killed the son of the town's biggest, he's not a drug baron, but he's a criminal.
He's a gangster, yeah.
He's a gangster.
Mobster.
Mob boss, yeah.
I think he's specifically non-drugs, though, because of what happens later with his son.
Yeah.
He's kind of against drugs, but he just knows, look, if he knows that you've done this, you're dead. So he goes about trying to cover it up, but there's mistakes that have been made. There's kind of clues that have been left. he's quite close with police officers and different judges and that, and they all come around the house at the most like inopportune moments when he's trying to wash blood off shit and that. The gangsters, they kind of have their own wee investigation going. Obviously, they're trying to string up somebody who is a young black guy gets fucking the finger pointed at him. That's horrific what happens to him. And
wait 2 seconds, Kieran. What episode are you on?
I think I've seen 7.
Right, okay, I'm only on 3.
Okay. That's fine. I don't need to go into more details of that. Just to say that I think it's great. I'm really enjoying it.
I can imagine the inner conflict is just so strife there. Like, obviously, he says he's kind of sympathetic to the plight, but then, he doesn't want his own son to get hurt as well, and it's like, oh my god, just imagine Bryan Cranston just acting as so well.
And he's just amazing.
The conflict with the son as well. The fact that he was way to go and help, and then he couldn't help at that point in time, and then by the time he was potentially able to help, then the kid had died, and then
it was too late.
It was, and then how his dad's telling him, right, you're going to have to go to the police, and then 2 seconds later, no, you're not going. No, we're going to need to cover this up, and all the different kind of inner workings that whole fluctuation.
He has
is going to
brought up his son. He's a judge. He's brought up his son to be, truthful, respectful, all this shit. And now he's just saying, "Nah, lie your ass off." So
I do feel a lot of kind of Walter White coming through though.
Yeah, there's bits of that. Yeah, there definitely is. Just dealing with like a good man being made
becoming bad. Yeah,
becoming bad. Well, but yeah,
there's enough differences.
Breaking into bad. Yeah.
No, being forced into do things that you'd rather not.
Yeah.
Shia Whitlock Jr.'s in it, so it's always a good thing. Spoken to him before. Shit.
I've still not heard of that happening. And see if he doesn't say it in the series, I'm going to be fucking dead.
He might do.
He should have that in every contract.
Yeah.
In any TV show that he does, that he needs to say that at some point.
Have you seen him in Your Honour yet?
Yeah. Because he starts. Well, he gets rid of the car, doesn't he?
He helps get rid of the car.
Helps there. So it's quite early on that you meet him.
Right. So,
if you've still not watched The Wire, get involved in The Wire.
I need to.
Yeah. Hurry up and do it before like all the references sort of die away. I think it stands up like any sort of era, but
easily.
Get it in your
life. Do you want to pass the torch?
Definitely, yeah.
I think every single person that I speak to about any type of TV series push The Wire so much, and my friend Aaron Fox, I pushed it on him, and he was so sick fed up with me going on about it. He watched it and he was just like, I can't believe I've never had this in my life.
Do you know what I like? Do you know what I was thinking about when I was watching Your Honour? This is the conflict. This is the story, right, that we've laid out for you. And, the judge finds himself, using his position of power to try and he starts lying. He starts lying. Almost everything he says is lying. But The Wire deals with this and more at the same time. This is just like one storyline in The Wire of about half a dozen that are going on, over like a season. And that's how deep and how layered it is. No. The second one I'm going to talk about is like, so it's a real life, potentially a miscarriage of justice. And I'm going to say someone I never thought I'd ever say before, but...
Was this Nicky Sturgeon? No. Alex Salmon, just miscarriage of justice? No.
No. I'm going to say someone I never thought I'd say is, I want you to go on to Channel 5 and watch something that's good. This is called...
Spice Girls coming back.
Yeah. Murder in a Small Town. So it deals with the death of Jodie Jones, who was murdered brutally in Dalkeith in 2003. She was 14 years old and she was hacked and dismembered and just horrific. And her boyfriend at the time, Luke Mitchell, who was also 14, was immediately kind of painted out as a suspect. He listened to like Nirvana and Marilyn Manson and that sort of shit, and had written sort of things on his jotter, immediately painted as devil worshipper. And the reason I got interested in it is because of the role of the media and the role they played in the whole thing. So from day one, he was not just named in the papers, right, which you shouldn't do as a suspect, and you should certainly not do as a 14-year-old. He was painted as I said, this like
Satan worshiper.
Yeah, all this. For months on end, he was in the paper. Splashed pictures of him. It's obviously influencing the public, influencing, therefore, the jury. But I think most importantly, it kind of influenced the police's lack of interest in any other suspects. There was no forensic evidence that put Luke near the scene. So it was just in a forest somewhere, right? And one of the things when they were doing, these big community searches where everybody sort of holds hands and crawls through the fields, he was involved in that. And he was said to have said, "Oh, let's go look over there," and then that's where the body was. Whether that happened or not is another thing, because it was like somebody else said, well, it was maybe a dog that led him there, that sort of thing. So there was that evidence, shaky eyewitness evidence, an eyewitness who placed him with Jodie on the night of the murder near the entrance to this path, but then couldn't back that up in court when she was there in front of him. She says, "No, I can't say it was him," and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
That's all the evidence they had.
They had.
That's all you need sometimes. As soon as it catches wind like that.
Yeah.
And it's always those type of kids that are like quiet, or like Marilyn Manson and stuff like that. They were like, oh, it's that kind of evil rock and roll that's turning the kids like to devil worshippers or whatever. So there's all that kind of already against them.
And 2003 was the peak of that sort of fear, wasn't it?
Fuck yeah. Marshall Mathers album.
Marshall Mathers says, blamed it on Marilyn. Listen to this as well, right? So we've talked about this. Like, let's listen to other potential suspects. There was another male's DNA on the body, right, on her t-shirt. It was her sister's boyfriend. There was a claim that she had borrowed her sister's t-shirt, which would explain that. There was also a freshly used condom at the scene. There were 4 or 5 up to, so that for this program to be made, this 2-part program on Channel 5, they hired kind of ex-cop private investigators to go over the case, and they come up with a list of about 6 different people who they would say are persons of interest at the same level of Luke Mitchell or even more. None of them were fucking questioned. None of them were questioned. One of them is dead already. There was like people who admitted to being at the scene on mopeds. There was somebody who had a similar hairstyle to Luke Mitchell at the time, kind of like long blonde hair, who cut his hair, shaved it off himself the day after the murder. Why are these people not spoken to? There's a condom at the scene with fucking semen in it. And that wasn't Luke Mitchell's, right? So who was it? Who the fuck was it?
Come on, man.
Right. And then, when he was 15 at the time, was taken in. So 14 at the time of the murder, 15 taken in. He was detained, not arrested, for hours and questioned. I was watching this thinking, right, this can't be the Making a Murderer, like the Scottish version of Making a Murderer. It's not going to be, because Channel 5 absolutely Channel 5'd it, with the music and the fucking the drone footage and all this sort of shit, right? And I'm like, just get past that, and you've got an interesting story anyway. Tell the story. But the more it went on, you're like, fucking hell, this was. So he was detained and questioned for hours and hours without a parent or a lawyer present. Said that he didn't. Was it
request one?
No, not that he didn't. No, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like he didn't qualify for one. That was it.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I thought anybody under the age of 18 qualifies.
Anybody, doesn't matter what your age, you deserve a lawyer.
Yeah, it's your rights, but obviously they just wanted this guy for it, and so screw you.
And they took him, like, so he says, can I go to the toilet? Stood at the urinals. He says there was two big guys either side of him just shouting at him, fucking admit it, you bastard. You just, like, you know what everybody's saying about you. You'll make it easier if you just admit it. All this. And then, so he gets to jail. And in 2012, 13-ish, the Sunday Mail get involved and they want to do a big splash because they start picking up bits of the case that are just kind of don't quite make sense, and they get his mum, who was his alibi, to take a lie detector test. Like, did she actually make up that she was with him? Did she help on the clothes? Did she help in any way? Sailed through it. Get the guy himself, Luke Mitchell, to take a lie detector test. Sailed through it. Well, these are not admissible in UK court yet. But and there's been appeals. I think there's been 3 separate appeals to this, but none of them. And I was interested anyway with it. Like, as I said, the media's kind of rolling it. But now I'm like, fucking hell, man. That guy should not be in jail.
Yeah.
They've just pure lynched the boy.
There's so much stuff like that, or even some like of the world's like most like mysterious cases and stuff like that, even if they don't have a guy for it. And then you look at the police files and it's like, oh, they had this guy, the suspect who said, like, who was there at the time, he had all these motives, and then they just like didn't question him for some reason. There's so much like police incompetence going around this. Like, there were some of the world's like unsolved cases, but in this one there was no incompetence. They just wanted this guy. They were out for blood.
I think they were under pressure to get somebody. So much pressure on them.
As soon as they get the public kind of view on it, then that's the added pressure that they're just kind of
the narrative was there for this young boy to be the killer, and once they had that, they didn't let it go.
That's the media giving the narrative, though. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, lie detector tests. Christ, easy for me to say. What's the point in even using them now? As the technology even kind of came along. I'm
not sitting here advocating.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine for a documentary because that's not getting used in the court of justice. But surely they've brought technology along a wee bit more for them to be a bit more.
I don't know. They still look quite primitive to me. Like, you know, just a little line going up and down. And
just a wee. Yeah.
I would have expected.
Did you look at that boy's bum? Type.
Like since the I don't know when they were first like used or whatever, but they don't seem to have changed. Like in decades since they kind of came in, it didn't seem to have got any that improved at all. Maybe if they were actually used by courts here, but they're used in courts in America, so I don't know.
Of course, there's maybe different states and stuff.
Yeah,
you might get in one, but not the other.
But you always seen them back in the day, movies and stuff like that, where they would use them. I just kind of thought there, well, why the fuck have they not developed that any further?
Yeah.
Piece of piss.
Right. Anyone else want to take one up?
Have you got one, Daz?
I've started watching this show, this anime. I was telling Dad about it, called Attack on Titan. It's just not expecting a lot of people to know it, but obviously a Japanese show, but it's kind of set in this kind of little kingdom, and it's in a world where humanity's like got like not a lot of numbers left, and they're all living in these there's one big city, and there's 3 massive walls in there, and there's like 3 stages to the walls, and they're all in there because of these titans, with these like just giants that have existed for like a century or so, and they just go around eating people. So all of humanity that are left anyway are all just huddled in this little thing, thinking they'll be safe there. But the show is just kind of about these kids that have had dealings with the Titans that have attacked and broken through the walls, and they've trying to get trained up now, and they're trying to become soldiers and kill them. But it's not as easy as that. It's, the show I'd kind of almost compared to is it's like Walking Dead. You know, after a while, it's not about the zombies. It's more about how messed up everyone else is in the show. I'm only like, I would say 8 episodes into it, but we've already explored like kind of the military view and how everyone's like militarized, the fact that they all thought they were going to be safe in the walls, but then that doesn't, like, it's a kind of harrowing scene where it's almost like Titanic when everyone's trying to get off the boat and they're all trying to get onto this through the walls, and like people say, oh no, there's only so many people can get through the time, we have to wait till the ship goes, and then people like jumping off and trying to get onto the boat, like throwing their kids over and everything like that, make sure they're not getting eaten. But there's a good level of detail in the show and the kind of the world building. Like a little bit through the episode, they'll just like, in like in an ad break, they'll just pause and they'll show something like the like humans are like about 2 meters, but then an average one's like 30 meters, then one's like 40 meters, and one of the bigger ones like 50 meters tall. It's quite cool show. It's full action, but it's kind of what anime's known for, just a lot of character moments, and it's, you know, it's always following a different person around. But I think it's got 4 seasons, so I'm right at the start. But I can just imagine.
I watched a couple of episodes of that with Brandon because he was getting into quite a lot of the anime, and we've got a couple of the Tokyo Ghoul books upstairs as well, which I've had a quick read through, a couple of, well, not quick read through, just a wee skiffy through them. And the Attack on Titans, I was getting into it, and then I just didn't get a chance to get back to it.
Yeah, I guess it's quite like it's a show that some of my friends have been pushing me to watch. I've seen other kind of animes in my time, but this one seems.
What about Spirit Away? Have you watched that?
Spirited Away, I've seen that. Yeah, that's quite. I think it's the one where the girl and her parents go visiting somewhere, and then it's almost gets transported into a different world, and her parents get turned into pigs or something. I think that's that one.
I know that it's been highly kind of. I don't know if it's picked up Golden Globes or it's picked up quite a number of awards. That Spirit Away. I've seen it a few times. I've seen it popping up on Netflix a few times, and I keep thinking I should. It's give it
definitely really odd, but it's kind of fun. I would try to get more into animes. I think one that you guys might like more is Death Note, which is this kid gets this. Kind of like a high school kid, genius, gets this book and it fall from the sky, and it's like if you write someone's name in there, but there's like a certain amount of time they'll die. And so this kid, turns into he just kind of views himself as this god of like handing out justice. So whenever a criminal's name's on the news or something like that, he just executes them. And it turns into this cat and mouse game with this detective that's after him, but it's quite hard to prove the existence of a supernatural book. So I know, and the demon that's kind of it's his book, but he dropped it, and so now he's just kind of following him around, and he can only be seen by whoever touches the book. But it's very clever in the way that the book has rules on how the character uses uses that to bend and can use it to his leverage, while the other character's trying to figure out who's doing this and how they're doing it. And it's just great. And the status quo kind of gets changed a lot, and there'll be twists and there'll be turns. It's not, he's just doing the same all the time. It's quite radical changes, but that show's great. It was on Netflix, but they took it off. So.
Oh well, that's probably me all day.
Animes are good. I remember watching Fist of the North Star when I was younger, and that was a brilliant film. And it is a lot more kind of character driven than you would expect it to be. But anime movies are quality. Like, just don't give it. You don't really give it a chance a lot of the time.
Yeah. I've been trying to.
Cool.
Yeah, it's hard to get into.
Me and Daz continued the run up to the Godzilla versus King Kong with
Team Zilla.
Are you Team Zilla even after watching Skull Island?
Team Zilla.
So quickly run through, Daz, what happened today. For those that are not watching the video, Darren's just made a Z with his hands and his thumbs. I've seen that before.
Actually, you done it a better way than I did. I had to makeshift it. There you go. Team Zilla.
Right. So this
is kind of like
Godzilla. The thing was where Godzilla was kind of unearthed, and long story short, they thought he was bad, but he ended up helping to kill these other bad monsters. And
so something similar happens here.
It's pretty much with Kong Skull Island, is it? So on you go, Daz.
Yeah. So it's kind of a similar kind of setup and start, but so John Goodman's trying to proves the existence of like monsters and aliens and stuff that go around. He's seen as a bit of a joke, but he gets this rare kind of satellite image because satellites are new at that time. Of this new island, and he kind of puts together a team and uses his contacts in the Pentagon for what he says is to do like a little flyover and shoot these not little bombs, but these things that kind of give a sonar readout.
Well, they make the Earth tremor, do they? Then they sort of read what's happened as a result.
I guess it's kind of like sonar. Like you put something out and you understand what's beefing back at you. But then what they discover is that King Kong has been living there, and it's kind of I think they make a point as quite of a younger King Kong. He's still massive, so gigantic, but he's not fully grown. And
teenager King Kong.
Yeah. he's in a mood.
Somebody's told him he's not watching anime this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a great first kill, is it? So like the military helicopters all descend on this island. They've got to go through like this kind of storm to get there, and once they do, it's just a kind of group of islands, and they come across Kong, and they don't know until a tree is just like flying across the sky.
Yeah, a big massive tram tree. And I love it. The island's almost like Jurassic Park in a way, where it's still got that aura and that kind of prehistoric vibe to it. I know there's like different animals that pop up throughout the movie or creatures, and I think it was great. And they really kind of, I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface of the island and what was around every corner. But the characters just focus on. So Goodman is just there for like knowledge. And you've got Samuel L. Jackson, who the Vietnam War has kind of left a bad taste in his mouth. He doesn't want to go home. He thinks
he's just looking for the next bit of action, is he?
Yeah, he's itching for it. And so he finds King Kong and he's like, yep.
One of us is leaving this bitch and it's not you.
This island's only big enough for one of us.
And then
but
Hiddleston.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, he's kind of like a hired gun, ex-SAS, and he's just there to kind of get paid and to find out what's going on. I really enjoyed it because I felt they put enough time into everything.
And then they meet John C. Reilly, who you see at the very start of the film. Him and a Japanese fighter end up on the island and come face to face with Kong, and he is still there, like 20, 30 years later or something like that. And so he tells them basically, look, Kong, we need Kong because he keeps all these other fucking beasts that we've been talking about at bay, especially the ones that live underground, which have just been unearthed because of John Goodman's plan to drop these bombs. So they've created space and all these things are coming up. And obviously Samuel L. Jackson doesn't listen to him. He goes gung-ho. So it's about all that. And in the end, Kong beats the other fucking things.
Skullcrawler. Yeah. And this is the one that killed its parents, making Kong the only giant monkey around. So they kind of make sense why he's the only one there. It's like that. So they're both natural enemies with each other.
Yeah, and people that live on the island with John C. Reilly, as they've just said, look, if you kill him, then these things will take over. So it kind of
they worship him like a god and stuff like that, or is it just?
Well, they don't speak.
There's a bit of
has it got like the always known the big giant gates for Kong Island type thing?
There is some Kong of that.
There's always the island that have got the big wooden posts around, or the giant trees around, and then they've got the.
I don't think it opens for them, but that is shown, yeah. And these people are just kind of seem as like, I don't know what to call them, almost like not monks, but just kind of like
really peaceful living.
Really peaceful society, and almost kind of like an African tribe or something like that. They got the like all the beings.
You've got nothing to worry about when you've got a fucking 95-foot giant.
There's really good kills. I think the CGI is pretty flawless. Really, I don't really.
They show a lot of Kong, and the Kong criticism is like, "Oh, don't show the monster," but they show a lot of them. But one moment it'll stay with me forever is that bit where the gang's kind of walking through this kind of, what are they called?
The forest.
Yeah, it's kind of long grass or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not pine trees, but it's kind of like...
It's like a bamboo tree, was it?
Bamboos, yeah. And all of a sudden, they just see kind of like one move, and they say, what's going on? And you find out that like someone gets stabbed through by one. You're like, oh my God. They look up, it's this massive kind of... Not a spider, but some kind of creepy crawly
spider-like thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's making use of that camouflage and that natural thing. And you'd see it in like a nature documentary. You go, oh wow, that's cool, it's killing that bug. But this one, the humans are the... His
legs is kind of
terrifying,
mimicked the trunks of these trees or plants.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't know the difference until it was like through your body.
It's like those bugs that they look like leaves or something like that, and unsuspected one goes up to it and gets eaten. But yeah, it's really scary because the panic ensues and they have to cut the legs down. It's really cool just to be kind of out of nowhere. They could have not had that, and it's not consequential, but it really made it feel like the world is full of more monsters.
Next film on this trilogy is, what is it? Godzilla does.
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
King of the Monsters.
Is that the one that's just the way to come out?
No, it's Godzilla v Kong or Kong v Godzilla.
Yeah.
So we need to think. I don't know how they're going to work a scenario where they have to put the two big heroes against each other, but I'm sure they will.
Sounds good.
I definitely think it'll be like, they'll fight for a bit, and then there's this other villain.
Yeah, team up.
I'm ready for the tag team, though.
Yeah. Is that us done? Are we ready for the quiz now?
Well, I've got one more. Sorry.
Shoot.
The last one, it was what Bella picked for our kids' movie night. It was Yes Day. So I think all the young kids will be wanting to watch this at some point. It was Jennifer Gardner. She read the book and then she made this into a screenplay and then directed. I'm not sure if she directed and produced it, or produced it and just somebody else directed it. But her and her husband, when they were younger, said yes to everything, skydiving, doing all these different kind of weird and wonderful things. And then as soon as they got married, they had kids, and they start saying no to everything. And the kids just kind of build them up as to you say no to everything. And then one of the kids writes a poem about her mum saying how mean she is, and the other younger boy, there's a older girl, younger boy, and then a 4 or 5 year old girl. And the younger boy, he makes a movie saying that his mum's such a dictator and all this when they see this at the parents' evening. And And then one of the teachers in the background says, "Oh, why don't you give your kids a yes day?" So there's rules to a yes day, apparently. And the rules are, you've got to say yes to everything. You can't say yes to something that's going to be in the future, like, can I have a dog or anything along those lines?
Because you would have a dog forever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
So it's got to be just on that one day.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a budget, and that's more or less it. And you can't do anything that's going to kill you or harm anybody and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the premise, and that's everything that you need to know about this movie.
I've got a feeling that Bella really likes this concept.
See what Bella really liked this concept. She knew about a yes day beforehand, and we done a yes day on our birthday, and she didn't do very well with it, to be fair. But, some of her things was, well, one of our main one was, Dad, I dare you to wear Dad, wear this tutu and go up to the shops. And I was like, yeah, fine. So I put a tutu on and went up to the shops with her, and she was more embarrassed than I was. So I was just like, but this movie's given her a lot more ideas.
Okay.
My biggest issue is near the tail end of the movie, they're doing this volcanic eruption type science project thing, and the kids take over the house and they have a big massive party. See, all Americans, anytime they're doing their homework, they've got to do the volcano, and they've got to have it spouting out
baking soda,
yeah, baking soda type stuff. So the wee boys got this thing, and
we watched the Simpsons episode about that, Taz, remember?
Yeah.
So they have a big party, and they've got this massive foam party thing ongoing. And as I look around, there's Evie, the ninja of the family, who will honestly rule the world in an evil way. She's just sitting there, and she is actually rubbing her hands as she was watching this. she was just a big cheese on her face, going, yeah, rubbing her hands. Right. Going to need to watch what she puts down the toilet in the next couple of fucking weeks. But that's good, nice, feel-good family film. But just be prepared for getting asked for a yes day as soon as this film happens. We've said that we'll give them a yes day on their birthdays.
That's a great idea.
I remember there's a Jim Carrey comedy called Yes Man. It's just kind of similar like that, and it's like a self-help thing, and it's just like, and just kind of takes over his life because everyone around him starts taking advantage of him, and then he goes to like different countries and stuff like that. It's just pretty funny.
Because that's the guy that wrote the book for that. He went to Dundee Uni, was it? He was pals with Dave Gorman. David Wallace?
Dave Gorman.
David.
Danny Wallace.
Danny Wallace, that's it. Danny Wallace wrote the book Yes Man, or Yes Man, or Yes something anyway. And then Jim Carrey starred in the movie about it.
Okay. I follow Danny Wallace on Twitter. Good guy. Commentates on the World Strongman Championships as well, just randomly. Which is also on Channel 5. Fucking hell.
Jesus, man.
What have I done?
Turn the channel over, mate. Darren, can you help him find the remote?
I've got like 900 channels or something like that. I can find Channel 5.
Stuck on Channel 5.
You know what? We've got a TV in the bedroom, and when the kids come in on like Saturday mornings and that, we'll stick it on, and it's like there's limited channels on that. So again, it's Channel 5.
Milkshake.
So Milkshake, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to stop talking about Channel 5. Yeah. Let's go to a quiz before I start fucking singing the Milkshake theme. We'll be back with the quiz. So you've heard us stutter through a few episodes now, and if you're thinking I could do better than they 3 Napes, then you're probably right. You can even do it right from your mobile phone. The free Anchor app has all the tools to record and edit your podcast, and Anchor will do all the distribution to places like Apple Podcasts and Spotify for you. You can even make money right from the start. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's Tarig's mother-in-law to tell you more.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
There you go. Simply download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Just remember to plug in your mic.
The best place to listen to Krusty third Nipple. It's nice.
Welcome back to Krusty's Third Nipple's fourth or fifth quiz. So we've got Darren, the reigning champ, and Kieran can't guess an answer to save his life. Finlay. I don't know what the scores on the boards are. I think me and Darren might be equals pegging on the winning quizzes. So we'll just get straight into it. So this quiz is nice and simple. We've already done the toss of the coin and the rock, paper, scissors because we know how good podcast material that has been. And Darren is going to go first. So it is 10 questions.
10.
And we'll just answer them and we'll just give you the answers as we go along. And it's 10 quotes from a movie, and you've got to give us the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Right. So we'll start. Number 1. I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Silence of the Lambs.
Off the fire. We're going to need a bigger boat.
Jaws.
Mm-hmm. They call it a Royale with cheese.
Pulp Fiction.
I didn't think you'd get that. Do you like scary movies?
I'm guessing that's Scream.
Well done. They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
Anchorman.
Yep.
Was it the Black Panther or something like
that? Puny God.
Avengers.
We're all different, especially him. There's something kind of different. Sorry, I'll start that again. We're all different, especially him. There's something kind of fantastic about that, isn't there?
I don't know that one actually. I'm going to have to pass that one.
That's a good one. I'll get you thinking anyway. Everybody knows you never go full retard.
What's it called? It's a Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. Don't want to come off. I don't want to come off as arrogant here, but I'm the greatest botanist on this planet.
Greatest botanist on this planet. Oh, I'm trying to think of characters as a botanist. Oh, the Martian. He's on Mars. Has to be the greatest.
And the last one. You meet me at a very strange time in my life.
Is it Fight Club, perchance?
Yes, it is.
start the deck here.
Darren, you have stacked it massively.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of this week's quiz.
That was damn good going. I'll hold on to the score just now, but I think you can all count. So, Kieran,
I'm shite at these days, so.
well, here's hoping, because I'll have to potentially Google a tie-break question.
No, I didn't. Nah.
So, number one, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
See, it's picking a two. Is it the Prestige?
So, that's your answer.
That's my answer. It's obviously no. Given Darren's face.
I'm like,
just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
What's that? I'm not taking which
back. I was going to push you on that, but I thought harsh. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Fuck, that's the... Oh, shit. That's the one with really hot at it. Really hot in it. And I can't remember what it's called. Goodfellas.
Right. Right, number 4. If my answers frightened you, then you should cease asking scary questions.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know. My answer's frightened you. I'm going to say Saw, but I don't think it's Saw.
Right. Sell me this pen.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Aye. Well done. Right. Mama always had a way of explaining things I couldn't understand.
Forrest Gump.
Aye. It's the mama bit there, eh?
It sure is, yeah.
Aye. What's in the box?
Darren knows it, given the wee rice smile on his face there.
I'm just thinking, he's got to say it how he says it. I think it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard to not say that in a different way.
I'll go and do it, because I've done it clear. Go on.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah, that's not helped.
What's in the box?
Back to the Future. 7.
Number 8. Aye, we'll give you that. We'll give you that. You were a bit late.
Is it Back to the Future 7?
All right, nah. Well, you're not getting that then.
No. No.
So question number 8. The woman deserves her revenge, and we deserve to die.
Kill Bill. Or probably Kill Bill 2.
Kill Bill Volume 1, right at the end. All right. And what did I say? Did you hear what I said? I heard what I said because I was standing there when I said it.
I've heard that. I know this film, but I've no idea. Like, I've seen this film.
Yeah, you've definitely seen it.
I've definitely seen the film.
But what did I say? Did you hear what I said? I heard what I said because I was standing there when I said it.
Nah, fuck, it's gone.
No. And the last one. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
That's Back to the Future.
That's Back to the Future.
You got it in the end.
You got it. You got it. Right, so I'll just run through the ones that you got wrong. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. There's Usual Suspects. Just when I thought you were out, you pulled me back in. Godfather. As far back as I can remember, you got that. That was Goodfellas. My answers frighten you, then you should cease asking scary questions. Pulp Fiction. You missed that one. Same with Penn, Wolf of Wall Street, you got that. Mum Always Had a Way of Explaining, you got Forrest Gump. What's in the Box? It was question number 7, and it was 7.
Okay.
And what did I say? You didn't? Did you hear what I said? I heard what I said because we were standing where I said it. Was Bad Boys when the chief was shouting at him. So you got 6 out of that, and Daz smashed it for a massive congratulations on a number 9 on there.
Well done, Daz.
What's the one I missed?
Well done,
what's the one I
Daz.
missed?
The one you missed was, we're all different, especially him, but there's something kind of fantastic about that, isn't there? And you being a Finlay, and I thought you would have smashed that one. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, yeah. I
I
thought it was something to do with fun. I just couldn't imagine that. But yeah, it makes sense because all the different. That was
yeah.
saying the film. And the viewer standing there with like the hypnotized eyes. It's like
Fucking quality film, by the way.
yeah.
Right up.
I've still not seen it. Still not watched it.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I think we found
Happy
Darren's
days.
niche here, right? It's like movie quizzes. Absolutely.
Fucking movie quizzes. He's just fucking.
I got some easy ones though, like scary movies.
Well, I tried making your ones a wee bit more kind of scary orientated because we know you like your horrors. So, happy days. But I think that sets me up for.
So Darren, you're picking the film again, what we're watching next. I'm going to try my best to win a quiz and pick a film.
I'll pick for myself because I think Fight Club was inspired by Brandon's pick. So
Right, cool.
I think I'm going to business for myself here.
Next up, get your man boobs and your exploding soap at the ready as we move on to Fight Club.
You meet me at a very strange time in my life. So that is the final line from the movie that we all just watched and enjoyed, hopefully enjoyed. And that was Fight Club, which was released to us on the 12th of November 1999. So if areas were kicking about Dundee or around this area on the 12th of November 1999, and you went to Fat Sam's or the Mardi Gras or the Enigma or Deja Vu, and the song Keep On Moving by Five came on, you would have met Scooby on the dance floor with his hand in the air, raving like he just doesn't give a fucking care. That was his jam. And that was number 1 at the time of Fight Club being released.
I've got to say, never a truer word has been spoken on this podcast.
He is the 5-man.
Remember the 5 megamix?
Oh my God, Deja Vu. Get on up when you're down. Oh, definitely. So
Everybody get up.
1, 2, 3.
Sorry, on you go.
So Keep On Moving by Five was number 1 in the UK on the 12th of November. In the UK, we had The Blair Witch Project in the cinemas.
Ooh.
Don't know how I feel about that. And in the US, we had The Bone Collector, which is a good fucking film. It is a good film. Which one would you guys watch first, Bone Collector or
at the time
Blair Witch Project?
Blair Witch, because that's what everybody talked about. But now, Bone Collector, yeah. I think once you've seen Blair Witch, sorry, I would ask.
I haven't heard of Bone Collector, so I'd probably go for Blair Witch. Haven't seen that, but I've heard of it. So
it's Denzel and Angelina Jolie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a detective who's broke all his bones in his body from, I can't remember what type of accident. I can only move his finger and his fucking head, apparently. And Angelina Jolie does all the running about, and they're trying to find the serial killer. But it's good. It's really good, actually. A couple of other actors, 90s actors kicking about in there as well, as always. But Blair Witch, I don't care if I liked it or not.
I never lived up to the hype in my estimation, but it was probably never gonna. Still worthy of comment and that, given
the fact that it was only done on 12, 20 grand or something.
And you can kind of create that much hype with that little money, and it's really not
scripted. They're really just freaking each other out in the woods, like tortured the cast and everything.
Maybe that's what we need to do with the podcast.
Come more scared.
12 or 20 grand and pumped into it, and then we'll go around and scare each other.
That'll go straight to the beer budget, and then nothing will change.
That's why is that a negative? But no, Fight Club. So I've probably watched it the most recent out of the three of us.
There's no probably about that.
Yeah, I just managed to finish watching it about 10 to 15 minutes before we started recording the podcast. I was cooking, cleaning, jobbying, everything while I was watching Fight Club on my phone. So it's fairly fresh in my memory.
And that is, you first time you've seen it, is that right?
Yeah.
What were your expectations kind of coming into it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew it was a big film. I know a lot of people talk about it. I know people that either hate the fact that people watch it, or people just kind of base a lot of the stuff that they are, or their movie tastes around that movie.
That seems to be it. It does seem to be it.
I knew it was kind of going to be a mammoth of a film, but it definitely lived up to it. I could be wrong, but I think David Fincher's director, so you can never go wrong with him. So I think it was quite meticulous, and it was handled very well. I can imagine it being a lot worse under other people. And the messages kind of getting more cliched, and just everything being mishandled. But I think this is great.
Did he do Scream 7 as well? I'm just having a quick look.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, he's
it's got the same. It's like the same lens type or same camera angle or colouring. It's almost got like a green colouring all the way through the film. I remember seeing that
they're two quite dark, depressing settings. This, and obviously in 7 it's more oppressive, and it's more kind of grungy. But in this one it's just. Yeah, it's got to be so plain that it hurts sometimes, like in the office and stuff like that. And it's got to be so run down in the basement or the house. It feels it stands out. Yeah.
If that was kind of a theme that you had, Fight Club and then 7, I mean, I would watch a series of these type of films as a universe. I mean, that would be epic.
Or even just like a double feature or something like that, one after the other.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't even have to play into each other or that, but
Nah.
Christ. So what was your first feelings on it then, Daz?
Well, I could, when I was watching it, I kind of got it more and more. I was afraid I was going to not get it. I've had that before, like with other movies, where I'm just like, oh, I'm not got it, and I was like enjoying it. But I really kind of I felt like if I'd run in the 90s, I might have just went and saw it at the cinema like 3 times, and then that'd be all I talked about or something. It would have blown my mind. But now it's 2021, I've kind of missed the boat.
Tyler Durden!
Yeah, wow. That's it. I'm not going shopping. I've got everything I need. I'm moving.
Yeah.
I'm not doing all these things. Go start fighting people.
For me, I think that's certainly my feelings. I've seen it a few times, but the first time I'm like, wow, this is me. This is how I want to be. This is what everybody should do. And then watching it this time, I'm thinking, what the fuck was I talking about, man? Honestly, what a lot of nonsense. And
we thought about that a little bit. It was like, as a teenager, like watching it, I just thought, wow, it's the coolest movie ever. But then you were like, as an adult, being like, Jesus Christ.
What was it?
Yeah.
I think...
Not that I don't like the film now.
No,
I say that. It's still very watchable in that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this was actually probably the second time I've actually watched it. The first time I watched it and just thought, pure wow. And then anytime, if I'm channel surfing and it comes on, then I'll watch it whatever point in time it is, and then if something else comes on, if it's an advert or something, then I'll just ditch it. But this is definitely the second time that I've watched it all the way through. And that's actually changed it for me a wee bit. About a lot, actually. Because I was looking more for all the plot holes.
Right.
That might have fell into.
More like an analytical eye on it. And
Yeah. And Christ, that was, 20 years difference from when I first watched it?
Yeah.
As well. So
definitely. You're a different person now, and you're entitled to have different opinions on the same things. Definitely. Let's go through it then. So it starts with a character who is actually titled as the narrator. So we can call him the narrator, or we can call him Ed Norton, however you want to go about it.
Because he's not got a name.
He's unnamed. And he's a car recall specialist. He's kind of like unfulfilled by his job, his possessions, and he suffers from chronic insomnia. And to cure this, he attends support groups, posing as a sufferer of all these diseases with his kind of brethren at the time. So there's there's cancer, there's testicular cancer, there's polio, there's definitely tuberculosis.
Everything, yeah.
And there's brain diseases and everything kicking about.
He kind of finds feeling and meaning into these. He's brought into the present, and whatever emotion he's able to pull out of himself through these, it helps him sleep. So he's like, yeah, this is my game, this is what I do. And this is all disturbed when another imposter, Marla Singer, starts attending the same groups. Even the testicular cancer one. I don't know how she got into that. Security guys
I think they're just too nice.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think they're allowed to kick people out, you know. Like, they don't need a proof for Ed Norton to do it. So
there was one funny line that she says to him. She says, I've probably got more justice being there than you, because you still have your balls. So, and they two agree to split the groups because they can't act like they are genuine in front of somebody who they know is not genuine. And what I think, what that did for me is made me kind of sympathetic to his plight. You know, he's needing to feel something here. He's needing to get this.
And there's not a support group for his insomnia or his displacement in the world, and the fact that he's actually these things are healthy for him because he actually gets in touch with his feelings, even through his lies. It's not hurting anyone else. He's not being there to be cruel. Like Marla, she goes there and she just kind of enjoys other people's pain, it feels like. But with him, he's making connections with people. The first, like, he's not got any friends. He's not got anybody he knows.
It's the fact that his doctor even kind of, he goes to his doctor and says, right, I'm needing sleeping tablets. And he's got, no, you don't need sleeping tablets. All you need is a good night's sleep. Tell you what, if you're needing tablets or you're needing something, go and see these guys in this support group and see the pain that they're going through, and then you can come back to me and ask me for some type of pain.
Yeah, that's first meant is like condescending.
Like, oh, massive.
Oh, your thing's not important. But in a way,
it just shows that the mental health type of mentality was just kind of brushed aside within the medical culture there. And it was just like, yeah, fuck off. Go and see what the guy with the big boobs can will say to you.
And what were your initial impressions of Marla, and then how did that change kind of throughout the film?
I've always loved her as an actress.
Big favourite of mine.
Massive favourite, because she'll always take on board that crazy ass bitch, and she will crazy ass bitch that crazy ass bitch. And yeah, she at the start you're just thinking, what the why the fuck is she kicking about here?
Yeah, leave him alone, man.
He's enjoying himself. He's coming in. He's not hurting anybody. He's giving people hugs. But yeah, she's coming in to steal his thunder at that point.
Yeah, and she almost kind of interjects herself back in at certain points throughout the movie, because there's a while where she's not in it, and then she's like, "Oh, you haven't been going to your groups," and then she's just kind of. She always finds a way to worm herself back into his life.
Mm.
I don't have much of an opinion on her.
She does teeter on the kind of, is she a wee bit crazy, or is she just enjoying being part of his craziness? Because you don't really see her having any kind of issues, with the exception of kind of. She talks about wearing a different dress, and she's just getting shagged for him all the time, and I don't know. There's nothing that really kind of pushes her.
Overall, she's kind of painted as some sort of like Yoko Ono type figure, where everything's going well for Tyler, and then everyone's going well for Fight Club, and everything's going well for Project Mayhem, and then she keeps fucking it up. But when you watch it knowing the twist, and man, she gets put through the ringer from Tyler. You know, like when
she is mistreated. Yeah,
when they get together for the first time, and he's like, "What, you spent the night?" And that comes across as quite innocent in the first instance, but then you know that they've spent the night together. What did he expect? Just to fuck off? And then it's like. Yeah. That's just like bottom level, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And I'm thinking that near the end, like, why is she still fucking there? To be honest with you,
yeah, it's almost abusive at that point.
Yeah. So, like,
see, what I want to know from both of you is at what point in the movie did the coin drop? Because I still remember to this day when I watched it for the first time, where I said to whoever it was I was with when I was watching it, I said, I think they're that's the same person.
And when do you think that was? You just know it was before the reveal.
I know that it was when he went to the hospital, and he talks for me. And he said. Yeah, Tyler sometimes talks for me, and that was at that point in time. I turned on to whoever I was sitting with, and I said, "I think they're the same person," because there's another part just before it where they're on the plane, and they look down, and he says, "Oh, got the same briefcase." And I was thinking, "Well, why is that?"
Yeah.
I kind of thought, right, that's a clue.
That's when he
so
starts
That's a clue to
cleverly
something.
hinted.
And then
yeah.
it's kind of it's cleverly hinted quite a lot of the times throughout the film.
Loads.
And
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
really well done. So
even the first
for me, that was that point. Mm-hmm.
Even the first line is he says something and he says, "I know this because Tyler knows this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're
obviously got the same briefcase, and he tells them about the explosions, and then all of a sudden his apartment gets blown up. Yeah, and there's loads of stuff. It's like when he's chasing around. I don't know. I think I kind of got it around. There's other clues going on as well, because obviously Tyler Durden gets kind of blipped in at the start in little bits, and then you later find out that one of his odd jobs is to blip. Do the projection things,
box,
and he blips other images into the cinemas, and there's loads of stuff like that, and it's like, oh, I feel like Tyler's a shadow of me, or maybe a shadow of him. So I was getting it there.
So you're watching this from the perspective of having seen loads of films, loads of twists in the past. And coming, because in the 90s when this was released, a film like this with a twist like this wasn't the norm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've seen the things be inspired by this, so it was easier for me to latch on. But it's so clever, and even I was saying this to you. There's such a smart way of explaining things.
It's lucky that you've had all these twists and turns. Yeah, well, it's so clever the way they set up, because they explain things that have happened earlier in the movie, like, because obviously the Fight Club starts with him and Tyler beating the crap out of each other in a parking lot, but the first thing you think was like, oh, how does that happen? But in between then and the twist, there's a scene in the office where he goes into the boss's office and beats himself up quite convincingly. And so, without you even realizing it, he's explained, the movie's explained how that event could have taken place. Yeah. And him beating himself up.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, and there's quite a few instances where that happens. And then, so when you see the CCTV TV footage of him getting dragged by himself, it's like, it makes sense, because he's already beat himself up 3 or 4 times already. So,
So after
I suppose you've seen, like you said, you've seen a few films like this. I mean, you've got Me, Myself, and Irene, which is brilliant. One of the best beat yourself up movies. And just funny as fuck, man.
Liar has that bit too. He beats himself up in the toilet.
Jim Carrey's good at beating himself down, is he?
I want to fight between him and them Norton against themselves.
Then you've got Joker. I don't want to kind of chuck out there, because that's a spoiler if anybody's not seen it. So you've kind of seen these types of films where you've got that massive twist. This was a big twist for our generation for seeing it at the time. Yeah.
And even after it's handled well, because he's still bewildered and he's still trying to explain things and stuff. I feel like with other movies they twist and it's like everyone gets it. Like he's still trying to put the pieces together. So it's like, and he doesn't know when he's Tyler. Sometimes
Tyler's. Why didn't you get it, Tyler? Or narrator Ed Norton? Why didn't you get it?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's I don't know. It's so strange because, and then when he's chasing Tyler around and Tyler's already made all these plans ahead of him. Tyler's aware, but narrator isn't. So you're seeing it from like cat and mouse thing. You're seeing it from like the mouse's perspective, and the cat's already made all the traps and everything like that ahead of time. So if you saw it from Tyler's view, it'd be like, oh, he goes on those planes and just tells everyone like, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna do this. Just don't. So it's quite fun to imagine those scenes taking place as well.
Yeah. So let's go back to when they first met. They meet on a flight home from one of his, the narrator's many business trips. He speaks to people who he calls his, what is it he calls the people who...
Single serving.
Single service, yeah. And so he's just kind of cheating these people who he speaks to on a plane. It's just like, I'm going to speak to you once and once only in my life. And he meets Tyler Durden, a soap salesman. He returns home that night to find his apartment and all his belongings, all his treasured IKEA things, destroyed by an explosion. He's kind of obviously disheartened by this, and his first instinct is to call Tyler and go and meet him at a bar. Does he call Marley first?
He does, but doesn't say anything,
Yeah.
But when it got to this point, because obviously Tyler made that weird speech about using home-made things to explode stuff, and I thought we were going to get into like a stalker film, like a single white female or something like that. And because Norton had nowhere else to turn, and Tyler Durden was going to be obsessive, but it turned out to be completely different. So
they're at the bar, and Tyler Durden in the parking lot asks the narrator to hit him, and they have a fist fight. And again, this is someone else that I just thought, well, this is his next step up from the support groups, because there's no other feeling of being in the present than getting hit. And so
a bit of trivia for that.
I just want to rewind back a little bit.
Okay.
So just at the airport. So when he's standing at the airport and the guy behind the desk saying, vibrator or your vibrator type thing.
Oh yeah.
He turns around and Pitt just jumps in the car, jumps in a Ferrari or a Porsche and just nips off. Steals it, and you see another guy coming running from behind.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, so where in their kind of so-called timelines did he actually Norton actually go and steal the car and go and blow up his house? Or why? What was that? And did he just imagine him doing that and hoping that he would actually do this? Because later on in the police report, they talk about the pilot light being lit and timer for him maybe coming home. Or it was just I remember seeing that and thinking, what the? Why was that needed?
Because we're led to believe later on that everything that Tyler does, Ed Norton has actually done while he's sleeping or whatever, or blanked out or whatever. But he can't because he was speaking to...
He could, but he's had interactions and stuff like that where he believes he has, but he actually hasn't. Like when Marley's upstairs been watching him with Tyler or something like and he's just downstairs, he's fixing the lights or reading or something like that. So he could have just believed that, but he would have to went home, did that, came, like, ditched the car, got on a bus or a taxi, and then it's back to Ed, and then he, like, witnesses the explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't explain that one, Taz. Sorry.
But a bit of trivia for the first fight scene.
Go for it.
When the narrator hits Tyler Durden in the ear, Ed Norton actually hits him in the Brad Pitt in the ear. He was originally going to fake hit him, but before the scene, David Fincher pulled Norton aside and told him to hit him in the ear. And so when after Norton hit him, you could see him smiling and laughing. Pitt's actually feeling pain. Like he didn't expect to get punched right in the ear, so that's why his reactions.
I love that line. Hit me in the ear. Hit me in the face, man, not the ear.
You could tell that's a genuine hit to the fucking ear. I was like, "Are you bastard?"
fucking hit me in the
ear. That's good. I like that.
So I was thinking that the pain from this fist fight, it kind of begins to render everything else meaningless, does it? So he's less worried about his job. He's less worried about, his fucking loneliness, his depression, his lack of sleep, and all that sort of thing. After the explosion in his condo, the narrator moves into Tyler's home, which is a large, dilapidated house. in this industrial area and kind of in the middle of nowhere. They have more fights outside the bar, and this attracts kind of growing crowds of men. The fights move to the bar's basement, where the men form Fight Club.
Right, hold on. Right there and then.
Oh.
So he's just beating himself up outside the pub.
Yeah. And obviously there's
And he's gathered in a crowd,
and then as gathered in a crowd, and everybody's just saying, "Oh, let's start a fight club."
Yeah.
Well,
If we were standing in a pub, came outside, seen some guy battering himself,
and he said,
I wouldn't have turned into you, Kieran, and said, "Oh, Kieran, come on, let's go into a fight because this guy's fighting himself."
But that's the thing, though. It's not an
Punching
average
yourself in
person
the face
wouldn't,
looks
but
good.
it's the kind of like the dregs of society that are kind of outcast. And so some guys like, oh, he's already beaten himself up, so it wouldn't be bad.
I'm taking that as a compliment.
It's like your average.
Yeah.
"No, you're bang on though. Like, in what world do you see somebody like that and you're saying, whatever he says, I'm going to follow to the fucking letter?" Do you know what I mean?
But it is a kind of a slow kind of thing, you know. It's you're fighting out outside the bar. It's like a lads thing, and then we're going to the bar. So now it's a secret thing. It's now in the open, and then he gives you all these rules you have to follow. So it's membership only, and then it all gets kind of dialed up, but it's very slowly. You start seeing these mantras about these lifestyles and everything.
Right, okay. What are the rules?
Yeah.
There's 8 rules of Fight Club. What are they?
Oh, do you want me to list them?
First rules,
Yeah,
first
go.
2 of them are like, don't talk about
Right,
it.
don't talk about
Correct.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Fight Club. You've got to fight your first night.
Yeah, that's number 8.
No shoes or
No shirt.
t-shirt.
No shirts, no shoes. That's number 6.
No shirts, no shoes.
Taps, stopping,
Yeah,
unresponsive.
if somebody says
tap.
stop or goes limp or taps out, fight's over. That's number 3.
Your name's Darren Robertson. You've got to get battered.
Rule number 4, only 2 guys to a fight.
Yeah.
Rule number
Only
5,
one fight at a time.
One fight at a time. And rule number 7 is fights will go long as they have to.
Another bit of trivia, actually, because Bob, or I think it's Meatloaf, is acting him, has to wear the fat suit. He has to wear the shirt when he's fighting, and so he kind of breaks one of the rules. Because if he takes his shirt off, he exposes the big old fat suit.
Fuck.
There you go.
Fuck's sake, Meatloaf. How could you not just put on loads of weight and massive boobs?
Have you seen them moves, man? Fucking hell, I'm taking
I
ranges.
know.
I heard as well that
It's good that Meatloaf was on.
the sound effect of the fights was recorded by men punching like chicken fillets. So it's that proper, flesh on flesh sort of sound. Yeah, pretty realistic. And again, the fight scenes were good. I liked how they were realistic in the sense that they were over quite quickly. You see fight scenes and they go on for like 10, 15 minutes and there's big haymakers all the time. You're like, shoot, no, that can't happen. These ones are quite
None of them are
bloody.
trained fighters either.
Yeah.
And it makes it more real.
Yeah, so they probably can't defend themselves as well as they could.
Aye. And everybody that was standing around the ring, they're all kind of skinny, wee guys that are not going to do much damage, which annoyed me a wee bit. I was thinking,
you want to see death? Mortal Kombat?
No, I was wanting to see. I was expecting more kind of dad bods kicking about instead of these guys with 6 packs kicking about and shit. Well, not quite 6 packs, but
wow. Brad Pitt is fucking pretty ripped.
The funny thing is, though, they make fun of Calvin Klein models, and he's like, "Oh, that's not going to help you in real life." He takes his shirt off. It's like, come on, man.
He's so cut, man. Unbelievable. I think he's more cut than he was in Snatch.
probably actually.
Snatch kind of still had to. He couldn't be too cut because obviously he's just
he's just a kind of gypsy.
like a gypsy character. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna get.
It's all CGI. It's all CGI. Nobody can. Right, ladies. Any ladies that are watching.
Unrealistic
LSL,
body expectations.
LSL were a Australian contingent. Nobody can be like that. It's CGI. That's it.
So Marla works her way back into the scenario by overdosing. And she phones the narrator for help. He ignores her, but Tyler picks up the phone and goes over to save her. And they begin like a sexual relationship, much to Ed Norton's irritation. Well, interestingly though, Tyler warns the narrator never to talk to Marla about him.
But then, how the hell did she get the number for this abandoned house?
Don't know off the top of my head.
I remember
any type of.
I remember a line actually because I think all of his calls on his old number have been forwarded to this house because he moved there. Because that's how the police track him down, and I think there is a line.
That's fine.
And because Marla has his old number, I think the operator or whoever was around the 90s just put him through.
Whatever was around in the 90s. Cheers, that.
I was around in the 90s. So.
This dilapidated house doesn't have like proper running water, but perfectly serviceable phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like that. Because they're living like cavemen, almost like going back to human roots, and he's like, to live is to live uncomfortably, and it's such a contrast to his IKEA sets and his he's just such a comfy lifestyle he's got.
And I actually quite enjoyed the sort of like bromance that was developing between them. You know, they're reading, they're fucking shooting golf when they're fucking bloated. They're talking.
They were actually drunk in that scene.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, who would and they were hitting balls into like the trailers basically.
Yeah,
class.
Good fun.
All right.
And yeah, they're talking about who would you fight over history and all this sort of thing. I thought about mine, but he's not like a real person. But mine would be Sherlock Holmes, because I think Sherlock Holmes he'd be like an absolute ninja. You just wouldn't get near him. You just pull out his cane or his walking stick or something and just like whip you up, and you keep getting up.
It depends on iteration. If it's Robert Downey Jr., you're not standing a chance. But if it's Cumberbatch, if it's Cumberbatch, I think you can knock him out.
You'll take Cumberbatch.
It's the one from the books. The one from the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just I don't think you get near him. He'd just be so nimble and wily. You know, there'd be no violence in it. It'd be like he would just keep whipping me up with his stick, or just I'd be like, "Fuck you!" Keep running up and just go on.
I'm trying to think who I would want. If it wasn't Oprah, then I don't know.
I think I'd have to take him, Jamie Oliver. You know,
Jamie Oliver.
He needs to.
I'll help you. I'll double train.
I'll train.
Rocky style training.
Oh, exactly. Well, no, table ladders and chairs. Right him through. I'll be shouting, "Get the tables," and you go and get it, and we'll Jamie Oliver him right through the fucking table.
Death drop, yeah.
Oh, massively. Fucking hate Jamie Oliver. He's such a twat, is he?
Dickhead.
You've got us angry now. Even mentioning his name.
Yeah, I did. I think like that you picked up that point about the bromance, and you talk about like the brotherhood that Fight Club kind of originally is, and you talk about like the effects it has on people afterward, and I think that's one of the more important things people stick kind of with the movie. It's not so much that they want to go and commit acts of terrorism, but it's more they want to feel accepted in a group and they're supported, and it's this brotherhood. There's rules, and they'll beat the crap at each other, but they'll always have each other's back, and that's it. Like they'll be together no matter
It's
what.
the hooliganism aspect of fighting.
Yeah, and there's so many
that's
people.
That's why you get everybody kind of turning to football hooliganism, because they want that outlet from their day-to-day mundane life, where
It's
there's
a lot of people are like the narrator.
Yeah,
it's like when you look at like people getting involved in hooligans, gangs, and sort of thing. It's like, okay, things are not going well for you, so I'm going to resort to violence, or that sort of. It seems to be the fucking easiest, like, get out.
I mean, I like doing boxing myself and things like that, but getting pushed in the pus is fucking sore. So
I think it's just so much more about like and what it represents, and they're just a group, and they've all been downtrodden. They're like they say like, "Oh, we clean your cars, we wait your tables, and we treat like shit the whole time." But just they don't fuck with us because we're actually doing something about it. And a lot of people are like, it can feel like Ed Norton, and they're drifting through life, and they feel like they've got no one to talk to, or they don't have anyone to talk to, and they've got all these like even mental issues that they feel alone. And I think there's a lot of people that can watch this and connect with it. It doesn't mean that they're going to become whatever. I think that's what some people are missing. But
it's the next bit that kind of like starts to kind of grate on me a little bit. So Project Mayhem kind of comes. So Tyler moves Fight Club on to a recruitment tool for his anti-corporate, anti-consumer
establishment.
Yeah. Initially, without the narrator's involvement, the group engages in subversive acts of vandalism, increasingly troubling Ed Norton. He complains that Tyler has excluded him, and that's when Tyler tells him that he was the one that caused the explosion in the condo. Bob Big Tits Paulson is killed by the police during one of these kind of botched sabotage operations, and this kind of brings to a head the narrator's sense of being lost in this movement and what's he going to do next. He tries to stop it, and you start to see people's kind of eyes shifting, like, what you tell me that for? Because obviously 10 minutes ago you were saying this, or yesterday you were telling us to go and do these things.
So it's the flip scene, is it? It's the flip that you get in every movie where you've had your peak. Now let's see the downfall of how far this has gone. And Tyler Durden's brought the downfall with this army of people that are going to do his whim without him having to. In essence, he's created the machine.
Yeah,
and the machine's got working away.
War machine.
He doesn't have to do. And he doesn't have to do anymore, and that's it. It's all the wheels in motion, and he knows. It's almost like he
as well.
Yeah, right. It's almost like he knows that he's going to end up getting found out that he's the same person, because he needs everything to be kind of closed off from him before Norton can actually stop Pitt from taking over.
Yeah,
I really dug Norton's paranoia, and it's like everything's just happened, and it's almost like it's too late. He can't stop it. And the scene that was like kind of really stood out and spectacular was he gets all the plans right, and he realizes they're going to blow up one of these buildings. So he gets the plans, brings the guy up, and he's like, "Hello, yeah, we're in shape for tonight." So, oh no, they've already got their hooks in. They've already got everything sorted out. There's all the contingencies are in place. And you're like, oh no. Like, it really kind of frightened me almost, because like there was kind of like a hope spot. Like you think, okay, shut this down, but no,
You know. It's when the cops bring out the elastic band.
Yeah.
At the time, chop his balls off.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah, I
well,
was fucking
we
hating that
knew.
We needed to say that. Yeah, all this.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck,
There's a bit of trivia with that scene. Did you catch that one, Does?
No,
I hadn't seen that one,
So-
no.
The three cops are named. They're given kind of. Let me just try and get. It's something like Andrew Taylor, something like. So there was like Officer Andrew, Officer Taylor, Officer something, right? And that guy is the writer of 7 and 8mm.
right,
Wow.
8mm.
Yeah, which Norton and or Pitt starred in, both of them, and Andrew Kevin Walker. And he actually had a kind of role in this film as well, but not enough under these rules to earn the credit. So that was Fincher's way of giving him a kind of credit.
Yeah.
It was Officer Andrew, Officer Kevin, Officer Walker. And they were the three guys who were pinning the narrator to the table and was ready to chop off his balls. But that's scary because imagine being in that position where everything you say were like almost reinforced.
Yeah, we knew you were going to say that.
Fuck. You say, no, I thought someone else. Yeah.
How did you feel about the Norton basically narrating all the way through it, and kind of every now and then he would do like a third wall break, and right at the start he was introducing Tyler Durden, and he was kind of saying, "Oh, he pisses in the soup and does this and does that," and then all the way through it, there's every now and then he would just turn around and, well, you would, yeah.
I felt overall it was great, but I did feel like that scene where he's talking about Durden's odd jobs, that was a bit, I kind of pushed it, and it was a bit tongue in cheek, but overall I thought it was great, and the whole "I am Jax" something, and I think that kind of. And it maybe a lot about identity. It really kind of showed what he was thinking, what he was feeling, and it was like kind of separate from what Tyler was doing. So it was just him saying to the audience, "This is what I'm dealing here with the narrator's thinking."
So that kind of "I am" all stemmed from when they first go into the abandoned house, and they find all these books, and "I am blah de blah's liver, I am blah de blah's nipple."
Yeah.
And as soon as that happens, that's when the narrator starts with "I am Jack." So that makes me think that Norton's name is actually Jack. Any time that he says it after that point, he always says, "I am Jack's blah de blah. I am Jack's broken heart. I am Jack's liver," or blah de blah. So that makes us believe that Norton's Jack.
Hinting towards it, yeah.
I think he's been named in like future books. There's been different books and manga comics and so on. I think he is named, but it's not Jack. I can't remember what it was.
Actually, speaking of the book, the author first came up with the idea for the novel because he was on a camping trip. And he complained to some nearby campers, like the music was really loud, and he ended up getting beaten up by them, pretty badly. And so when he returned to work, he was fascinated to find that nobody would mention or acknowledge his injuries. And so they were just kind of saying small talk, like, "Oh, how was the weekend?" and stuff like that. And he concluded that the reason people feel this way is because if they asked him what happened, they would have to always break a barrier to agree, like a personal interaction.
Sympathise with them.
And his workmates just simply didn't care enough to connect with them on a personal level.
Yeah.
And so it was this that kind of opened his eyes about like the societal blocking, which kind of became the foundation of all it says. So it's like, how many people do you see that you just block out or don't care for? So it's the people that wash your car, it's the people that wait your tables. It's the people that you just kind of, or that they don't care for them.
Single interactions.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if somebody who was serving you food, serving you your soup or whatever, right, and just went, "Oh, do you know what? I've had a terrible night's sleep, and this is the nightmare I had." What the fuck? And it's that, isn't it?
It's like you're
just gives me that. Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of mirrored in the film because the Fight Club starts and he comes into work with injuries and nobody says anything and does anything, but even when he sees other members kind of in the wild, and there's a waiter with like a bandage, like thing over his nose, or there's a guy with a broken arm and a splint and stuff like that, and even when he goes around visiting all the places, and it's like, wow, people just really don't care. And, like, you can come in with like a bartender does like his angel thing on him.
No, and he's like broken neck thing,
like the neck brace.
Halo, and this, I guess he just never really got questions about that, and so that's based off like a real event. So
I did wonder that though, because like if you're working in the service industry, Tarig, you've been there. You're a staff member, like rock up like that. You'd be, wow. Am I going to put you in front of the house?
Kieran,
I think that might be exaggerating, but
sneezing too many times in a fucking bar. Never mind turning up with a fucking whole fucking brace on their head.
What about like a black eye?
Gone. Oh, black eye? You remember Birdman? Remember him being in your life, Darren? No, because he was gone.
Because he was gone.
Turned up with a black eye. See you later, mate.
But he's just kind of showing it, especially like in maybe an office thing where it's so like his office is so impersonal and he only interacts with the manager is like a dick.
But yeah, there was a big thing where people weren't wanting to hire anyone with a sleeve. So if you got a tattoo past your sleeve, then it's kind of people think
that's a change, though, is it? Because now it's like it's almost like welcomed. Oh, this guy's edgy. How many of these cookies? So. I'm drinking his coffee.
But the author has also stated that he found the film to be an improvement on his novel. That's a good story.
I've read the book, and it's quite a tricky but short read. There's lots of like these just like one lines. Quick paragraphs, lots short pages, because it's just kind of like these thoughts that are going through his head. It's not necessarily adding up. So rather than this long, complicated prose, it's like this is what I thought, and then this, and then this. Who said that? It's all that, and you're kind of before you know it, you're like 20 pages in. And I think in the in the book, the ending is something like. The narrator is ending up in a mental institution, and he kind of vows to be there until Tyler goes away or dies, whatever, till he gets rid of Tyler. But there's like I can't remember the word for the people that would work in this sort of place, but not the nurses, because obviously you can't be male nurses. No, like more like the matrons sort of thing. But
they help, they kind of...
The guys who work there, they're all kind of winking at him and still, like knowingly nods that you get with the waiters and that we've been talking about. And at least you believe Tyler's still there, because they still believe, and that's his future is in this mental institution.
Yeah. So but it's also like in the film... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said in the film he gets rid of Tyler.
Yeah. I'll get back to that. I just wanted a quick thing, because you see with it can grow legs without Tyler. Like, see when Robert Paulson dies, and Tyler's just like, his name is Robert Paulson, and then all of a sudden, like cult-like one of them says, "Oh, we don't have our names." But after it, they start making up this new rule without Tyler being there. It's just narrator. And it's like, so you get your name once you die. And so it's almost like this belief system is building right in front of the narrator's eyes. So Tyler doesn't need to tell them anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's might be what is alluded to in the book, that it's still running without his actual
Definitely,
presence.
It's done. It's done.
Mhm.
Like he's
Aye.
not going to get rid of this.
Cat's out the bag, yeah.
Culted. Yeah. And I'm not sure how much of the cult side of is that still in the book. The cult side. Well, yeah, it must be if it's within the mental hospital as well.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, and
Aye. We don't have many cults in the UK, do we? It's all in
that we know of.
Well,
I don't know. Like UKIP was a bit of a cult. If you
What's that Freemason thing? Is that still knocking about?
yeah, that's still not about.
Well, they're not asking you to drink special juice and fucking kill yourself.
I'll bring it in now since we've mentioned it, right? But one of the things I want to talk about with this is it's a big cult classic because it didn't do very well at the box office, but it has had a lasting effect on a lot of people. And I'll tell you about
culture.
I'll tell you about a group called the Proud Boys. I don't know if you were on about the American elections and that, Tarig. Is this kind of cropped up on your radar?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard.
So
heard the phrase in there.
Proud Boys are a self-described pro-West fraternal organisation comprised of men who refuse to apologise for creating the world. This is quite simply this is slightly different from what you see in Fight Club, though. Is they're saying we created the world and we're not created the modern world and we're not apologising for it. Whereas these guys are like pissed off because the modern world's kind of left them behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's men who created this world. It's white men who created this fucking consumeristic world. And now you've got white men saying, I can't get everything, so I'm going to fucking spit the dummy out and start fucking spitting in people's food. You know,
yeah,
you're just being dicks, basically. But anyway, this group, founded in 2016 during Trump's election campaign, dedicated, in its own words, to upholding Western chauvinism and their wish to revere the housewife and return to the gender roles of the early 20th century.
Here.
So yeah, nuclear family.
They've got a 4-stage initiation ritual, which, number one, publicly declare yourself a proud boy. So put yourself, right, that's it, I'm not there. I remember Fred Perry, actually, this is when I first kind of realised that it came out of my radar. Fred Perry put out a statement saying, we've got nothing to do with these fuckers. Because what they did was use a lot of Fred Perry t-shirts with the black on the yellow, or sorry, the yellow on the black. Number two, you have to be beat up by other members of the Proud Boys until you can name 5 kinds of breakfast cereal. Yeah.
That's like a gang thing, like a gang beating.
Exactly.
One of the group.
What is the pure worst fucking shittiest gang fucking beat up, is it? I could shout Cocoa Pops, Rice Krispies, Cheerios, fucking Weetabix and fucking blah 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 before he
that was
even
that was only 4 and I'm not punching you, Tarig.
Oh.
Well, if it was like presidents or something symbolic of what they're going for, yeah, but
and fucking breakfast cereals, fuck you.
It's more interestingly, this degree also includes a vow to stop masturbating.
Yeah. I remember seeing this on fucking, it might have been on Last Week Tonight.
Yeah, I'm quite positive.
Or it might have been Last Week Tonight or The Daily Show.
And just remember,
you're not allowed to masturbate.
Brad Pitt's line in this is that the Calvin Klein model is self-improvement is masturbation or something.
Yeah.
What about self-destruction? That's where it's at. Yeah. You've also, number 3, you got to get a Proud Boy tattoo, and then number 4, you've got to engage in physical violence with members of Antifa.
See, like with things like that, let's identify ourselves not only publicly but like on our bodies. It's like, come on, lads, if you're gonna make a cookie, we just like keep a little secret.
Right. Aye.
And I don't think that gets any more Fight Club if it's right.
Nah.
It's funny because they have similar morals, but they miss the message that Durden's going for. But and it's like you said, it's kind of like the opposite. They don't want kind of like it's like self-destruction is what Durden and that's going for. Let's just like destroy everything, like get back to basics. But with them, they just want self-improvement because they're not living the best life, so they want to improve their life and just make everyone kind of obviously bow to them.
Mm-hmm.
But because I think Durden would say, "You're not your job, you're not your skin color, you're not this, you're not that." But then Proud Boys are probably like,
"You're just
these things are important to us." Those things are like
you're only a skin.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I was kind of going for.
Yeah,
I think for Fight Club the film to. For me, what should have happened is if the narrator is going to get rid of Tyler Durden, right, and he's going to end up with the girl, which he does. He's going to end up alive, which he does. He's going to end up in a kind of pretty much more confident, self-assured state, which he does. Then he has to take down not only just Tyler Durden, which he does by shooting himself in the fucking cheek, therefore blowing Tyler Durden's head off. I think there's got to be a moment where he shoots down his ideas. He's got to come up.
Yeah, easy. Because the big turning point for him coming, the moment of clarity that he has is when he's in the car and they have the car crash.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes kind of almost in a coma or whatever you like. He's out of it for a couple of days, and then he wakes up, and that seems to be the only moment of clarity that he has. And in the car, they're just talking about how he needs to let go. He needs to let go just beforehand. And I was thinking, well, that's really not got anything to do with the kind of the overall theme that you're going with within this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just boom, car crash, right, you wake up, right, okay, now you know everything that's going on. So that's a big kind of point for me where they've not done a big crossover, or they've not done a big kind of moment like, whoa, this is what's fucking actually happening. This is what's actually. I
both loved
even if it was
impression that car scene, because like, again, knowing what you know, he is saying let go. The guys in the back know that there's only the narrator in there.
Yeah.
But he's sitting in the passenger seat, so how can he drive the car?
Well, he was.
Well, he's in the front. So like, he's just.
Yeah.
And he's pretending to argue with himself.
And he's saying,
and then they're in the back, like crazy, like they're going like.
Right, so he's literally in the. Okay, got you. That makes a lot more sense now.
So he just decides to drive into oncoming traffic, and the boys in the back have no clue. But see,
and he's just chatting away to himself.
Yeah, but see, I don't think he needs. I get it. We kind of go for he needs to shoot these things down, but I don't think he does. I don't think he believes that way, because even though Tyler Durden is like an evil parasite in his head, and it becomes like a cult. Terra, it's still him. He still believes these things in one way or another. I don't think, even though he overcomes that evil and gets rid of Tyler, I don't think he doesn't believe. It doesn't just change his mind on those things.
And
the world is
no sense of that.
Different.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing, but like not like a good thing, like effect it has on people after. But I don't think he should just do a complete 180 on everything, because. Like,
because he needs to bend to that. Yeah,
he's now probably just gonna like. Now there's like no credit card history. The world's in chaos. I think he's now just gonna kind of take over and run the world, or at least the city, as a commune or something like that. I don't think that he'll just give power back and say, "Oh, guys, we need to disband or something." I don't think he's going to be as evil as Tyler. I don't think he's going to try and kill people, but
I mean, he's a
leader now.
In my scenario, if he has genuinely kind of knocked back Tyler Durden's outlook on the world, come through that, survived that, that's quite exhilarating as well. You know, he's got the girl. Yeah. He can take on the world with that. He's had that moment of clarity. That's a good ending for me.
But then he's
still got the cult, and that's too far gone beyond him there. I don't know.
He wouldn't be able to have the cult in that situation.
No, he would disband that. Well, he would walk away.
He would have to, but disbanding
it too powerful now.
But then, yeah, exactly. Disbanding it, he wouldn't be able to disband it.
No.
You'd have to.
But you can
then. This would be a second movie.
He walks away from that, and that carries on. You know, keeps going, gets stronger, or just dismantles because they don't have the leader. Whatever. But
that might happen. But I don't know.
That's what I was kind of. In a way, I mean, there is ambiguity in the film because did he manage to actually disable that bomb? Because presumably that's the bomb set for the building that he's in at the time. Yeah. Does that actually go off? You know, did he cut the right cord or does he die? I don't know.
I don't think they die, but I don't know. It's quite ambiguous, but I do think he kind of gets rid of Tyler, but I don't think. And he kind of becomes his own man, but I don't know if he gets rid of everything that's Tyler, you know.
So therefore, the film is the film saying that because throughout this thing, Tyler Durden's portrayed to be cool as fuck. Is he? Even if we look at what he's wearing and that shit, and I was like, well, that's not cool, mate. But like he's
pull that off.
He's cool, right? And you know this cult following. You know, it's fucking. It's something to be part of. It's fucking edgy. There's nothing. Nowhere does you say, no, this is not good. Right. So is the film telling us that this is good? This is something to aspire to. But is the film saying, actually, is it a commentary on? Is it a prediction on kind of in a world where Proud Boys can come?
I don't know. It's kind of like in Jekyll and Hyde, where Jekyll's still very responsible for the actions of Hyde, you know, but it's not just one's good and one's evil. You know, Ed Norton tries to stop it and tries to save that, but he realizes it's not like he doesn't have to save people's lives, and his beliefs have kind of true. I don't know. It's very ambiguous.
There's a great, absolutely amazing bit right at the end, and it's honestly I just picked up just before I came on, and it was when Norton's sitting in the chair, and he comes round and he's got the gun in his mouth. And this is the exact scenario that you've got from right at the start. And Brad Pitt kind of says, is there anything that you want to say? And he pulls the gun out of his mouth and he says, I still can't think of anything to say. And then Pitt turns around and goes, oh, okay, flashback humour. And if you miss it, it's just when he says flashback humour, it's like, oh, so he's talking about the start of the film. So the whole film was the flashback because he's talked his way all the way up. So it's kind of went full circle within the movie. And I thought that was absolutely genius how they've done that.
I think that's great, but it's like he's recounted all the things in his head. He still doesn't know what to say or what to kind of come down on. But See, when he gets stuff like this,
he doesn't say because I went back to the start to see.
Yeah.
Does he say I still can't think of anything to say? He just says I can't think of anything to say, and then the second time he says I still can't think of anything to say. And then Brad Pitt says, "Oh, flashback humor."
It's great.
And that's kind of a wee ode to the breaking the third wall as well.
Yeah. But see, when we have a movie like this, I don't think it needs to kind of come down hard on either side. I think it could just kind of present something and let the audience decide. But it's clear that what narrator and Darren are doing is completely wrong. But it's showing how people can be led to think that way, and how the disenfranchised can be manipulated by someone who's like charismatic or has a lot of beliefs, and then is like subsequently radicalized into doing something bad. I think I don't know if it's. I don't think it's kind of too cool to be like a warning, like a PSA, but you still watch it and realize this is bad.
Yeah,
I don't think it needs to kind of come down and have Tyler have Ed Norton say, "Well, guys, I did everything wrong. This was bad. This was bad. I know I'm not that guy anymore. We need to go do this now," and like stop all the bombs in the buildings or anything. I think you could just kind of present it.
I think if we could have stopped all the bombs, you would have. My issue,
could have, but
I know. I
don't think it needs to get preachy, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. But there could have been it's not the type of film that would go like a big preachy thing. It just maybe a line where he takes responsibility, because it's the narrator who's responsible for everything that happens in the film. Mm-hmm. Yet he doesn't really seem to acknowledge it or get punished for it, or
there's no comeuppance, but
yeah. So just
I think it's unconventional, but yeah, I think he's just got to live with him.
What was your favourite scene throughout the movie? Was there any one scene that you?
Do you know what? That
was amazing.
This is not amazing. It's just funny. See the sex scene with Tyler Durden and Marla Singer, and Ed Norton goes to the door. So he knocks on the door.
But he he does that.
Yeah. How does Tyler Durden know that he doesn't matter? How does he open the door? Does he imagine that he's going to knock on the door? Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, he's at the door. He hears a knock and then thinks it's.
But there's no knock. There's no knock though.
Yeah.
But anyway, see when he does open the door and you see they're obviously at it and it's wild, and he's got a rubber glove on. I got a kick out of that. Dude, what the fuck's the rubber glove?
There's trivia because they basically when they're making it, they're just kind of horrify and harass like an executive or president at Fox, and it says here she was horrified when she saw the scene and demanding it be removed. But a subsequent test screening, the appearance of the glove got the biggest laugh of the whole movie, promoting her to change her mind. But there's another scene where is it about her also trying to. Oh yeah, it's the after that scene. The original line from Marla is, "I want to have your abortion."
Oh yeah,
and then she freaks the hell out, and it's a Fincher. Wily as ever says, okay, we'll change it, but the deal is the new line can't be cut. No matter what it is, it can't be cut. It's just like, okay. Nothing could be bad as that. And then it's the line in the film that I haven't been fucked like that since grade school. And then when she saw it, she was even more outraged and asked for the original one to be put back in. Fincher's just like, well, you made a deal.
Yeah, you don't make those types of deals.
No, Wiley. As ever.
But yeah, just the rubber glove fit in with the whole. Obviously, Ed Ed Norton sees Tyler Durden as his kind of like what he wants to be, what he wants to aspire to. He wants chaos in his life. He wants anything goes. And a sex scene with a fucking mad woman, and he just rocks up a rubber glove. It's just chaos.
So my one was when he goes to meet her in the hotel, and it's just the one line that she's got in it, and he chaps on the door. She's just took her pills, and she's standing there, and he's got the big dildo sitting next to him. And he just knocks it, and he's just flopping about all over the place. And she just, don't worry, it's got nothing on you. So that kind of says he's already shagged her. So it gives you a wee bit more of the story.
Well, nothing to be concerned about.
Nothing to be concerned about. Yeah, something like it.
Not a funny bit of trivia for you guys.
Yeah. But and then you see it flapping about in the corner. That's funny.
Yeah, another bit of trivia here says Brad Pitt said he didn't want his parents to see the movie, but he couldn't convince them not to watch it. And so they're going on watching it, and then they end up changing their minds after watching the chemical burn scene, where he convinces Ed Norton to burn himself and then not go for the water because of that burn it more, and you see the hand get worse and worse. Apparently they were horrified and just haven't seen the rest of the film after that.
But there's loads.
Can you imagine making a film and then saying, "Listen, Mum and Dad, don't see it. It's not bad. I just literally don't want you to see it." It's that insane.
Fair enough. If it's your own.
Yeah. I've made a few movies that I'm not going to memo. Dad, don't laugh at that.
I'm not.
You're definitely not. See how we're on about Ed Norton, Brad Pitt getting caught and Ed Norton looking a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the kind of their commitment to their art and everything like that. I read something that both Ed Norton and Brad Pitt learned how to really make soap for this.
Yeah, they had to.
Why?
Because they got to make the bombs, the soap.
So?
Yeah, but
I mean,
there's a scene when they're making it.
Seen a bit.
Again, so
that did.
It wasn't even a scene. It was more of a montage.
I'm not going to call them up on. No, they've done that in the wrong order.
But then again, if you get paid millions and you have to learn a new skill, I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's make soap.
Absolutely, yeah, why not? What he's in today. Let's go learn how to make soap. Yeah.
Right. Here's a question.
Cool.
If there was any other actors to play them two parts, who would you have rather have played them?
I guess
they don't have to change, but
somebody a bit more like sinister than Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt then was as cool as he's going to be, right? But someone with maybe a bit of a wickedness about him.
You want to signal to the audience more that he's a bad person.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah.
A wee sly smile here that kind of makes you think.
I get it. It has to be what people want to be, and that's the whole point of Tyler Durden to Ed Norton. But it's got to be that to the audience as well. It's got to convince millions of people that this is who you want to be.
I mean, in terms of the cast in it, I think it's great.
That's stellar, yeah.
But I mean, that's probably the most evil character Brad Pitt's played, probably.
Yeah.
Never seen him play any more anybody that's tempted to be evil on that line. Aye.
I think they have so much chemistry together, the whole bromance thing, but also Ed Norton can just kind of play like mentally ill kind of like loner really well. It kind of fades into the background, but Brad Pitt's the show stealer.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is
the six packs
contrast. Yeah, they're contrasting characters, but they also convince everyone that like it's great that they could be the same person. You know what I mean? It's that's acting that these two opposites can make everyone believe that they could be the same person.
Yeah, you're not getting a Samuel L. Jackson as a Tyler Durden.
No. I was thinking like the person I thought of, Benicio del Toro, or Tyler Durden.
So, I think it may be too wordy for him.
That would be
too many kind of monologues.
He probably has the facial expressions to do it.
But then he's not white, so you wouldn't get into Fight Club. So
aye.
So let's go with Burn Watch Buy. As you're in a good place for this because yeah. This
is my first chance, first viewing experience. Like I think you were going to say. So yeah, and I wasn't around, but it was kind of to be swept up and all. So yeah, it's definitely a buy. I definitely watch it again, and now with the extra knowledge and really appreciate it more. I think the script and just the acting are just like perfect.
Badge.
When I first watched it, I would have said buy. Because I mean, you need to rewatch this. And you need to rewatch it when you've got plenty of time, and maybe watch it again and again. But even after a second time of watching it, I think maybe after a second time of watching it, no, I don't need to watch it again. I'm happy with where I am with this movie. I could pick it up and drop it off anytime I want. So I'm down to a watch. I was buy beforehand, but no, just a watch.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because we're coming from having seen it more than once, and having seen it more than once, you kind of get everything, and then I'm not going to get any more out of it. Do you know what I mean? But are you asking someone?
You'll still put it on if you're popping past it. Would you stop and click on it again?
It kind of depends where it is in the film. I think the most interesting things are the start of Fight Club, the fights. Then see when it starts getting into Project Mayhem, I'm like, not really bothered with that.
Yeah, that's not the iconic parts of the film.
Yeah, so that probably does it for me. It's a watch. Yeah.
It's mad because as soon as we said that we were going to be watching Fight Club, I thought, it's an easy buy all the way. Mm-hmm. Because I did actually buy this movie when it first came out. I bought it on DVD.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I might not have bought it. I might have stole it from Manana, but, I still acquired it.
Your Nana, the big Dolph Lundgren fan.
or any type of blow them up, shoot them up type
Dolph Lundgren is Tyler Durden.
Danny DeVito is Ed Norton.
Quality.
Right, okay, Daz, you won the quiz.
Yeah.
You just put in the group chat there that yeah.
A little bit of trivia kind of.
Just before we move on.
It's just like another kind of hint, and this might only appeal to like a small audience of insomniacs out there. Throughout the film, that Tyler Durden could be seen to be wearing the sunglasses, which are blue blockers, or the type of sunglasses commonly used by insomniacs to filter out the blue light, which is detrimental to production of melatonin. I'm saying that right? A chemical essential for sleep. So, obviously, that's just another small hint that Ed Norton's the insomniac, but why is Tyler Durden wearing the insomniac glasses?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so packed full of the. Also, just sunglasses.
That's why people say you shouldn't watch your phone you shouldn't look at your phone when you're.
Before you go to bed,
because that blue light triggers something to keep you awake. So, like,
I'm
we're
a
led
big
to believe
advocate on that one.
we're led to believe that when the narrator thinks he's sleeping, he's actually
He's awake. Yeah,
flying across
he's still awake.
the country, setting up fight clubs and shit.
No.
No?
He's so because every time he's saying that he's going to a different place.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he lands, he's now there. So he's going to set up a fight club, or he's going to be there within.
Well,
maybe.
I think,
every time Ed Norton goes to any place that he's going to find a new car issue and stuff like that. So every single time that he flew across the country, he wasn't sleeping. He was going to his hotel.
Yeah.
He wasn't sleeping. Then he was going to.
Yeah, he has no recollection of going to these places.
Yeah, but yeah, he does have. He's got a recollection because even when he sees little things, he says, anytime I land, I know that there's a fight club near. So he knows in himself that he knows where to go.
Yeah.
So he's got the muscle memory of where it is. Every single country, every single place that he goes to, then he's been there before.
Yeah. I think the only time his insomnia is cured is when he's going to the support groups at the start. But you're kind of led to believe that it's kind of cured afterwards. Like, you know what I mean? Because then whenever it's after those support groups that you start seeing, seeing Tyler, and he takes over more and more.
As soon as he stops crying.
He's an insomniac for most of the film, but it kind of gets left. And so whenever he's sleeping, he's actually Tyler. But he thinks he's cured his insomnia, but
he does think he's cured his insomnia. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I mean, at what point do you drop dead if you don't sleep?
I think his mind just convinces himself that he's okay.
I mean, physically, but.
No.
Is that
so, boys and girls, if you've not fell asleep, please do so, because we don't want you starting up fight clubs left, right, and centre in Dundee, Aberdeen, or anywhere else around the world.
Oh, saying that, right? Yeah. There's more I was going to say about this, like the kind of influence that this has had. This is straight from Wikipedia, right? So,
right.
The film was suspected of influencing Luke Helder, a college student who planted pipe bombs in mailboxes in 2002. His goal was to create a smiley pattern on the map of the United States, similar to a scene in Fight Club, in which a building is vandalised to have a smiley on its exterior. July 16, 2009, a 17-year-old who had formed his own fight club in Manhattan was charged with detonating a homemade bomb outside a Starbucks shop in the Upper East Side. The New York City Police Department reported the suspect was trying to emulate Project Mayhem. In September 2015, 2 employees at Lightbridge Academy, a New Jersey daycare centre, were charged with instigating Fight Club-style brawls between children aged 4 to 6 years of age. The fights were reportedly filmed and uploaded to Snapchat and involved approximately a dozen boys and girls in the videos. One of the perpetrators, Erica Kenny, can be heard making references to Fight Club.
Oh, Erica would actually definitely do that. Erica would absolutely dominate. She's got the power. She's got the fucking push. Oh yeah, definitely. And Evie definitely push Project Mayhem to the highest degry.
I'd be hesitant to get a fight club with any of your kids. But I hate stuff like that because it's just like, and then the film gets blamed and there's the whole media causes violence thing, and it's like, we can't depict violence on film. It's like, many awesome films, great film and classics have got violence in them, and it's stuff like that. That it's like, and then it's censorship of the kind. It's like, someone might do a bad thing. And it's like, okay, well, someone might do a bad thing all the time, and it's obviously, it's just like it's abnormal that they're quoting a movie or doing stuff from it. But it's like, you're gonna shoot someone. That's a reference to loads of movies, or it's just I just hate that kind of stuff because instead of addressing what problems the person might have had, it's just the narrative just gets pushed differently.
I'm 100% behind you. I just thought it was interesting. Funny, especially when I read it about the nursery teachers getting the kids to fight.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
It is funny until your parent comes over with the broken arm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then you get them to the gym. Say, don't you come home with a fucking broken arm again. You will fucking demolish that person. Come on. Darren, can you not remember the training that your dad gave you when you were 4 years old? Sending you to the nursery fight.
Out. No.
Sake.
Do you remember our couple of years in New Jersey, Dan?
No. I do remember Dad betting against me for some reason, but
One big on that occasion.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think it's my turn to go. So, we went back to the 90s with this one. So, I'll suggest we go Back to the Future, and we'll watch Back to the Future.
That is a leap and a half.
I like that.
It's a great link.
It's something there.
No, it's a great link. I mean, it's a physical leap back to the couple of decades previous.
Yeah.
But, great.
So, what are we doing? 1, 2, and 3, or?
I don't know. I'd rather just go for I've got arguments with my friends about this. I don't think the sequels are necessary, and I feel like I get it. It's purposeful retreads in order to bridge a bigger story, but I'm like, just watch the first one. It's the classic. It's better than the other two. And I've been there's been pitchforks and torches.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tarig is picking himself up off the floor.
I'm a pitchfork and torch. I'm in the car and I'm coming up to your fucking house right now.
Listen, everyone likes the second one because of the features stuff. No one likes no one remembers the third one.
Fucking third one is great.
I've never had a single person to say, "Let's talk about Back to the Future Part 3." Like,
you're part of the wrong groups.
I'm part of the truth.
I'm not tied to this. I'm not a huge kind of like, haven't grown up with this. I would have said that you kind of talk about one without mentioning others, but
definitely.
Whether we go in depth into 2 or 3, let's wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait. I mean, yeah. Why not? I think in a trivia sort of way, but we probably will mention 2 and 3. But let's stick to, in terms of going through the film, kind of like not scene by scene, but in terms of how it was made and all this sort of thing. Let's just stick to one film. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go
unless Tarig hijacks it and says, "See in Back to the Future 2."
Every single time that I speak in the next 2 weeks, I will be. And in the third one, this happened. In the second one, this happened. So just be prepared, Darren.
Yeah. Maybe you can make a case in Dawn, which is the better film. Are you saying that 3's better than 1? 2's better than 1?
No.
No.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying any time that you mention Back to the Future, you automatically mention all 3 films because each one there's so many connections between all 3 of them. It's beautiful the way that they've been done. And if you're disrespecting one, you're disrespecting them all.
I'm the one to put the wedge in between them.
Don't you wedge in between them. They are all sexual.
Right. On that note, we'll end things. If you like what you're hearing here, don't keep it a secret. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. Search Krusty wherever you get your podcasts, or visit our website anchor.fm/Krusty's Nipple, where you'll see links to our back catalogue and social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and now even YouTube. giving you even more ways to get your Krusty fix. Tarig tried to get us on Insta, but there were some issues with us using the word nipple for some reason. I thought that site was full of tits, but there you go. So it's the goodbye from me. Goodbye. It's last word to you, gentlemen.
It's a goodbye from me as well.
Nipple.